Hi, this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019. And I'm just seeing a lot of the same kind of things that I saw in 2015-16.
New Democratic donors on Wall Street are preparing to sit out the 2020 election or back President Trump if Senator Elizabeth Warren wins the party's nomination. Recent polls are fueling their concerns. Senator Warren's status.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people who are going to either sit out the election or vote for Trump again if Bernie doesn't win the nomination. I mean, I think it's that simple. I don't think there's anybody on the Democratic ticket that Berners are going to vote for. And I know that everybody's going to tell us how much they hate, Berners who would vote for Trump. But I hope you understand that no Berner ever voted for Trump. Maybe some psychotic, What voting for Trump is all about is hurting the establishment Democrats. The establishment Democrat who runs. In 2016, if you were to vote for Trump as a Bernie supporter, you were saying, I want to hurt establishment Democrats. It doesn't do anything to progressive Democrats. As a matter of fact, if anything, it helps us, because without the power of the presidency or a congressman or a senator, then they can't screw around with progressives. This is obvious, right? They are less power. It gives us the opportunity to win in other elections. And in fact, doesn't it, I lost my train of thought, but it's something to do with an advantage for progressives. Progressives, the more the establishment Democrats are hurt. And I think that you'd admit that progressives are a completely different party. Progressives are the real Democrats. Establishment Democrats aren't even Democrats. They've stolen the name and they use the name, but they're not Democrats. As a matter of fact, I would say that we should settle the question of what the Democratic Party is about, that it's about FDR and MLK. It's those two in general kind of encompass the entire party. Between the two of them, you kind of get all the things that matter to the Democratic Party. And I know, parties can change and all that, in 1863, the Democratic Party was the slavery party. But, this is now and that was then. And I think we need to, as long as we're all set, we're kind of set on what the Democratic Party and this Republican Party means. And I think we'd all agree that the Democratic Party's, is the party of the New Deal, and has always, to whatever extent that anybody's ever supported the New Deal and the civil rights of the 60s. The Democratic Party has. I mean, other parties have. But to the tune of like 1%. I mean, they've never even gotten close to winning, the presidency. But a progressive as a Democrat, who knows? Maybe the establishment Democrats are right. Maybe we can't win without them. Or maybe they can't win without us. I mean, certainly in 2016, that was the case, right? But, I would rather lose and have a progressive... I mean, I wouldn't rather lose, but I mean, I'd rather lose and have the party represent me like he used to than win and have it represent the establishment. I mean, essentially the establishment is, because the Republicans support it 100%. The Democrats support it 100%. The establishment Democrats. But they like to pretend that they support it, but they support the people too. Which nothing could be, that just doesn't work. I mean, what the fuck is this country worth if we constantly prop up the rich and never do anything for the poor? That China has just reached a 0% poverty rate? China, with over 1 billion people, they've beaten us. I mean, fuck going to the moon and I don't know what else you could call an achievement. They have a 0 poverty rate now, or very close to it, as close as probably anybody's ever come to it. That's awesome, man. Love you, Chinese. Love you, China. And in Hong Kong, where they're insisting on European and Asian and American capitalism, begging Americans to come save them, most of them are just a day away from being homeless. I mean, what does it matter if you make a big paycheck if after you pay your rent you've only got $3 left? And I think I've talked about this, but if I haven't, I'm going to say it. Capitalism is a form of taxation. I mean, paying for things is taxation. For poor people, it's 100%. Every the end of the month you owe money. When you're done paying for everything, you owe money. That's 150% taxation. Rich people don't suffer that problem. When they're done paying for everything, they've got more money in the bank than when they started the month. It's entirely different for a poor person. So, I'm going to explain this to you again. Progressives, Bernie or bust, or whatever, they will not vote for anybody but Bernie. You give them another nominee like Hillary, they won't vote for him. They'll vote for Trump. And the reason for that, and I had a group that promoted this, but I don't have it ready yet. Here, let me pause this. Okay, so here it is. It was called The Plan to Take Back Our Party from Conservatives, fake Democrats. Let's see the about. Okay, the descriptions here. So, the plan to take back our party from conservative fake Democrats. This is a work in progress. This note will not be here when this description is done. The plan is pretty simple, really. To take back our party, which has been corrupted by big money. It seems nothing is sacred anymore and is being run by Democrats who don't give a shit about us. We rally Democrats into a voter bloc. We use this Facebook group to form this voter bloc. And yes, I know you're all going to raise your eyebrows, and I feel your pain, I really do, but we, this voter bloc, are going to vote for the Republican. That's a word I made up, like Shillery. I made up Shillery too. Repugnant conservative Republican. I know I hate them as much as, and probably more than you do, but remember, you're not going to vote for the Republican. You're going to vote against Hillary Clinton. A name I made up, by the way. The point to doing this is to make her lose. We will vote for the Republican for one single reason. Okay, so you get the idea. So it's a strategy, right? It's a strategy to, and to whatever extent it worked, it was effective. You would not see progressives winning at all if Hillary had won. They would have used the presidency to stomp us down and keep us, you wouldn't see like AOC would have lost to this asshole and etc. etc. You would have seen them all lose. Because it opens things up for progressives,
That so-called unity is, of course, only ever enforced in one direction. Now, don't get me wrong here, unity is a fine enough.
And yeah, she's absolutely right. You don't ever hear establishment Democrats, even in the lower ranks, the average voter on the street, talking about unity, getting behind Bernie Sanders. So isn't it pretty obvious that they're cutthroat, that they don't, and, I think we're more right than they are when we say that backing Bernie Sanders is the way to go, because he's clearly going to win, and they'll argue against that, but you know what, fuck them. Who gives a shit what they think anymore? After a while, in the beginning, you give people a little bit of attention to find out what they're talking about and see if they can really promote their ideas, but after a while, Jesus, yeah, we're all sexist Bernie bros. If he were to go tranny and name himself Bernadette Sanders, I would vote for him still. I mean, I'm against the whole tranny thing. I think that it's for sick people who, you're talking about a major mutilation, cutting your own Jesus, taking female hormones. The whole business is, macabre. It's something out of a Frankenstein movie. But I'd still vote for him. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt in terms of if they make mistakes, I'm not going to, as long as they're still who they are, as long as Bernie Sanders is always the guy who says what he says about politics and the economy and foreign policy, domestic and foreign, I'm always going to back him. Even if he supports voting for a dumbass bitch who's a rich bitch who's only interested in herself. You know, I'm not going to do it, but I'm not going to condemn him for thinking that's the way to go. After all, Trump is a threat to everybody. You know, the people are stupid enough not to see that. That's their problem. But well,
getting us into a $7 trillion war. My point is, his genius was a break from the party establishment to create existing infrastructure in a new image. All of the same warning signs are there for the Democratic side, and the establishment knows it. That's why they're trying to desperately to co-opt Elizabeth Warren, and then their longtime friend at arm's length, Joe Biden. Anyone who is not named Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I want to point something out here because I really think it's true. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think that the Clintons and the Obamas and all the establishment Democrats are really are a covert operation by the conservatives, mostly Republicans, and maybe a few like Blue Dog Democrats, a actual covert operation to ruin the Democratic Party is not the Democratic Party now after what they've done over 20 years. And I really think that it was a covert operation. It still is a covert operation by conservatives in the right wing, the Bushes and the Obamas and the Clintons and everybody who's involved, all the establishment people. And I think they actually, you know, they do everything above board, but if it were known that they're purposely corrupting the whole party so that conservatives can control the country, I think you would be, at that point I say it's illegal what they're doing. I don't think that a group of people are allowed to have a covert operation to purposely undermine the Democratic Party. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know of any laws against it, but isn't that inherently evil? Isn't that illegal? Isn't there a law against that somewhere? And I know you might say, well, no, that's not what happened. But that is what happened. That is, in fact, what happened. That did happen. Now, whether it was a concerted effort, I would say, yeah. And it's provable. If you take all the activities of conservatives and you connect the dots between Obama and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton over the years, and conservatism and their funding and their manipulation, and I think you would find that there is a conspiracy there. Now, whether it's intentional or not, I don't know, but I think it is. I think it is. So, this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. Thanks for watching.